Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I'm the Director of Support Training and Documentation for BNI Connect. I am also a Director Consultant here in Rhode Island, and I'd like to welcome everybody to kind of a special call today. We've hijacked the Vice President monthly call. I do have Ken Keegler here with me today, by the way, as well as Stephanie Blumenthal, and I believe we have Peter and Beth and other people on the call with us today as well. But we hijacked this call in order to show you guys some new stuff that's happening in the region. We're going to be talking very quickly today about the online renewals process in BNI Connect because members will be able to renew by themselves online, so through a whole online application. And as part of that, the vice presidents and the membership committees are going to be doing their reviews of the member online through BNI Connect as well. If we have time today, I was also asked to show you guys how to register visitors for upcoming meetings and how that can help to drive members to your chapters. Before we get started on all of this, a couple of housekeeping things. The first of which is I will be recording this call, so anybody that isn't able to make it, so if you're on the leadership team of your chapter and your other leadership team members weren't able to make it today, you'll be able to share the link with them to show them what we discussed today and review it with them. We'll send out the link from the office, but you'll also be able to find this and other webinars on our support site. So if you go to the support site, the way to get there is to click on this question mark in the upper right-hand corner. So from any screen in BNI Connect, click on that question mark. That will take you over to the support site. And on the support site, you'll see all our list of upcoming webinars. And if you scroll down just a little bit to chapter training and documentation, you'll see recorded webinars. I'll put this one under the April series of recorded webinars. So if you need to share it or show it to anybody in your chapter, you can find it there if you happen to misplace the link. And while you're in there, check out our other documents and recordings and things like that as well. All right, so before I get started on this, Stephanie and Ken, I believe you both are able to talk on this as panelists as well, and if I need to make anybody else a panelist, I can do so. But do you want to mention anything before I get started?
Yeah, Jeremy, this is Ken, and I just want to thank you for, as you indicated earlier, hijacking this call. This is a tremendously important process. We're allowing to be online for online renewals, and I just think it's wonderful to have you here and present this to everybody that's on the phone. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Ken. By the way, if anybody else has questions or comments or anything, just so that it minimizes the amount of background noise on presentations like this, we have everybody set up in mute only mode. So if you have questions, the best thing to do is to type them in. You'll see a questions panel where you can type your questions in. We'll see it pop up on our screen, and I'll be able to answer those as we're going through, or if it's something completely unrelated, we can have plenty of time at the end for questions. I do expect to get through most of this in about a half hour. That being said, if you have questions, whether it's about this or anything else about BNI Connect, this is what I do all day, every day, is answer questions about BNI Connect, and I'm happy to stay on this call until every single question has been answered. All right, so let's take a look at this online renewal process. So really, the online renewals should make your life in the chapter a lot easier. It does require that a person has a login access to BNI Connect, but from a process standpoint, this should really ease things from having to chase people around for paperwork. I know it's always tough as a secretary-treasurer, especially to chase somebody down. The moment you need to get them that renewal application, all of a sudden they're not there that week, and then you have to collect it back from them because they didn't have their credit card information with them or a check with them. So it becomes a really long, drawn-out process, and then shifting that paperwork from person to person. Handling this all through BNI Connect just makes it more streamlined, and you're not chasing paper. So let me show you how this process actually works. So here we have the online renewals, and this is how the process steps through. So it starts out with the member completing a renewal application. And again, this part is done online through BNI Connect. Then after that, the membership committee needs to get together and they still need to do the review of that application. So they still need to discuss the performance of the member and decide whether or not you're actually going to renew the person. So that's, again, just as it has always been, is you're still going to do that in-person meeting with the membership committee. Where the difference is that the VP will then need to go online and actually certify that you guys have had that meeting and either approves or declines that renewal. And then finally, the regional office, Stephanie, will be notified that this approval or decline has been taken place and a check is on the way or the payment's already been made by credit card and the process is done. The nice part is that everybody involved with the process can have visibility of this the whole time. There's a boatload of email notifications that happen that keep you informed every step of the way. So let's take a look at this from a member standpoint. Okay, so let's look at this from a member standpoint. What does this look like? So here's what it looks like to members. Let me bring this screen over. I'm going to log in. This is going to be my test region. I don't really want to actually renew anybody that's real. So one of my test members is Marky Mark up in Antarctica in the Burr chapter. So let me log in as Marky Mark. And what we'll see here is that, just what every member sees when they log into BNI Connect. It's just his normal startup screen here. But you'll notice that once we've activated this, you will see a Renew Now link right here on the home screen. So all they need to do is click Renew Now. We'll also be putting a link on the regional website. They'll also get that from an email reminder, reminding them to renew. So all of that can happen, and they just need to click the Renew Now. Once they do that, they will just see an online version of the application. Keep in mind, this is for Antarctica. Things are here in test mode. So the membership fees, they've gone up in Antarctica. It is now $3 for a 2-year renewal. They will need to answer various questions. Has your license been revoked? Are you willing to make the commitments? What positions are you willing to commit to in upcoming years? Anything with an asterisk, they do need to answer. At this point, they can also go through if they need to and check the details of their membership. So they will have an opportunity at this point to go in, and if they disagree with their profession or their specialty, their category, they can make changes to this. It will require additional approval. It does not happen automatically that just because they change it means that they automatically get it. But they do have the opportunity at this point, just like writing it down on the renewal application. Once they have accepted the terms of agreement, they can then proceed to the payment. Here they would choose how they're going to pay for it, either with an online credit card or a check or rolled quarters, whatever else it might be. And Stephanie will decide how she wants the payments to be processed, whether or not they're going to still hand the payments to you and you can send them into the regional office on a weekly basis, or whether they're going to mail them directly themselves if they're not using a credit card. But this will also allow them, if paying by credit card, to put their credit card information right away. Once they've made their payment, they're submitting this application and they will be queued up with the membership committee to be reviewed. And that's really it from a member standpoint. That's really all there is to it, to submitting an application online in BNI Connect. So again,
hi,
yeah, go
hello.
ahead.
Oh, sorry, I'm late. Seal Dotson here. I didn't get the email about that it was a webinar today.
Okay. So are you dialed in?
I'm dialed in. Yes, I'm with the Wareham chapter.
Okay, excellent. All right. So just going back over this real quick, the process from a member perspective is that they start the application online. They can do that by either clicking the link in the Renew Now email, in the renewal email. They can also click the link that'll be on the regional website. They could also click on the Renew Now link on the home screen like I showed you. Or they could click the Renew Now button on the main profile tab of their membership record. Now, once the renewal reminder goes in, an email does go to them. This is the renewal reminder email, by the way, with the Renew Now link. So they can click on either of those links. This is what the link may look like. I'm not sure exactly what format we're going to use, but here's a couple of examples. So it'll just be a Renew Now button that you can see here. And as we already saw, they submit that, they choose the payment, and then the notifications will be sent out. So that's really it from a member standpoint. Does anybody have any questions on that from a member standpoint? Miriam asks, when will this be live? So Stephanie, or when will this become live? When do we want to turn this on for members? You can either type your answer in, or I did unmute you as well, Steph. Or Peter, or anybody, does anybody have the answer for when will this be live in our region? So I think I recall being told that it was going to be live on May 1st. So Ashley just confirmed that. It looks like we should be live with this on the 1st. So, yep, and Peter confirms that as well. So, all right, yeah, it looks like live on the 1st. Cool. Any other questions on that part of it?
Jeremy, how far in advance can a member do this online once we get the live date?
Anytime they want to, which is pretty important, especially with the upcoming renewals, with the upcoming increase in the membership fees. A member could go in, even if they're not due for 2 years. Let's say they even just renewed a 2-year membership. They could go in and renew again for 2 years and take advantage of the lower fees right now. So it's not really limited by the amount of time left in your membership. Members probably won't be doing very much of that just off the cuff, but they more than likely they'll be prompted when they get the reminder emails 90 days out, for example.
And another question, will the membership committee receive a asterisk notation if the member has requested a category change?
Yes. So if a member goes in and changes any of the bits of information on their member details, so for example, let me just pull this screen over here. So as part of the update your member details, if they change their profession, their specialty, product service description, first name, last name, or company, then even if they've been pre-approved, the leadership team, the membership committee, the regional office, and the director consultant will be notified, hey, warning, 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 this person has changed their pertinent details. Pay close attention to this. So, does that answer your question there?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Jeremy.
And by the way, if they are pre-approved and they change any of this information, then they will be unapproved. I'm going to show you guys the difference between the pre-approved and the post-approved in just a second. All right, a couple of other questions that have popped up. We have one, Vanessa says, will the system know if you are due to be credited for your next year's membership because you were on a leadership team? Yes, the system takes that into account. If you're when you are in a leadership team position, president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, your dues are really, they're on hold. So your clock gets paused when you step into the position, and when you step out of the position, it's automatically unpaused. So therefore, while you're in that position, you're not going to get any renewal reminders or anything like that, because you're not effectively due for renewal because your membership isn't ticking. However, especially for you members that are in a leadership team position now, you may want to go ahead and renew early to take advantage of the lower pricing structure. It will add that on top of your compensated time, so you will get the full amount of time that you're owed. Does that make sense, Vanessa? Does that help? And then Miriam says, wouldn't they need to be approved? And that's exactly what we're going to get into right now, Miriam, which is the approval process for leadership teams. So here's the deal with the approval process. So with the renewals, and just with the online renewals, this does not apply to the paper renewals, but with the online renewals, each online renewal must be approved in BNI Connect. I repeat, they must be approved in BNI Connect. So in order for it to actually complete the process, the renewal process has to happen, or the approval process has to happen, which must be done by somebody on the leadership team. You have a couple of different options when it comes to approving people. You can fully approve them. It can be a conditional approval, or it could be declined as well. In our region, we are going to allow the approval to happen at any time during the process, which means that, and I think this addresses your question, Miriam, you can pre-approve a membership, meaning that the membership committee, they get their list. These are members that are going to be renewing in 90 days. You can proactively, as a membership committee, review all those people. Then, as a vice president, jump in and pre-approve those members and say, yep, when they come up for renewal, we okay this one, we okay this one, we okay this one. Or you can do it as a post-approval, which is kind of how it happens now with paper, which means that the member submits their renewal application and then you go in and approve it. Now we're going to be able to do it both ways here in BNI Connect. The trick is that until you go through both parts of this process, Stephanie can't complete the transaction fully to process that renewal. So let's take a look at how this happens. So the first option here is for a pre-approval. Now there's two different ways that you guys can do a pre-approval. The pre-approval can happen when you click on the link in the renewal email. So all of you now should be getting a renewal reminder 90 days before people are due that says, okay, these are the list of people in your chapter that are due for renewal. And in that email will be a link that says, click here to do the pre-approval process. So that's one way. Now, if you don't get that email, or you ignored that email, or you went into your spam folder and you just want to go in and do this process anyway, you can do that as well. And that gets done through the membership dues report. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to log in as one of my membership committee people. This is Albert Camus. He's on the membership committee of the Burr chapter. And the way that you need to do the pre-approvals is you go to the membership dues report. So I'm going to go to reports, and this is a chapter level report. And we click on the membership dues report. This will give us all of the members that are active in the chapter that aren't already pending a renewal. And for any of these members, you can start up at the top here, but I can look and say, okay, Jacob Goodwin, due on June 1st. Let's take a look at this pre-approval. Now, from a permission standpoint, I'm logged in as somebody that has permissions to do actual approvals, which means that I can look through, I can take a look at the details of this. I can look at their performance over the last 6 months. I can also click on the training details link, which will take me into their membership profile. I can look at the trainings that they've been to. I can see that Jacob here has been to the really, really great networking event. I can see if they've even filled out their profile in BNI Connect if I'd like to, and decide whether or not they are a good member. Now, if you're just on the membership committee, you would only see the top half of this screen. You wouldn't see the buttons down here. Keep in mind that this is not an online voting mechanism. Only one person goes in and submits the approval, which by default can be either the president, vice president, or secretary treasurer, which I think answers your question, Beth, although it's primarily going to be the vice president's responsibility. So at this point, we can say whether or not we certify that we've had all of the necessary membership performance reviews, and we can choose whether or not it is a conditional approval and whether or not we've sent a control letter about this conditional approval. At this point, I would click the pre-approve button. Keep in mind there is no pre-decline button. You do have to wait until they've submitted a renewal application if you are going to decline them. And that's really all there is to pre-approving. Once the member has been pre-approved, the buttons go away to allow you to do that again. And if I need to, I can go back to the membership dues report. And if there's anybody else that we need to pre-approve, we can do that as well and go through the membership dues report that way. Keep in mind that when you do pre-approve somebody, they get an email saying, "Congratulations, you've been pre-approved. Would you like to start your renewal process now?" So if you are going to be pre-approving people, you may not want to pre-approve them too far in advance because that will be pretty confusing to them to get an email saying that they've been pre-approved. So here we have, for example, I have my member here, Rebecca Goodwin, due in 2042. If I go to pre-approve her, it does give me a warning. It says that this member renewal is outside of the normal time period. Are you really, really sure you want to do this renewal quite so early? You still can, of course, if you want to, but it does give you the warning. All right, so it looks like we have a couple of questions that have popped up here. And let's see. I think I answered your question, Beth. It will be, by default, the president, vice president, secretary, treasurer all have the ability to actually click the approve button, although it should be just the vice president's responsibility. But we do usually give the other positions permission to do it, just so you can back them up. So if there's a situation when the vice president is out for a while or something like that, the process doesn't come to a grinding halt. Let's see. Robert says, will members be sent an electronic version of the membership questions for renewing members form to fill out as part of this process? No, they are not sent a copy of it. However, once they've filled it out, they will receive a copy of their application via email with all of the answers that they have answered along the way.
Jeremy, is there an opportunity to make a note, for example, the vice president's away on vacation and the president clicked approved? Is there a note field somewhere?
No, there is not a note field. And that was done intentionally because we didn't want any notes to be on the public record. That being said, it is in the audit log who actually did the approval as well. Rick says, maybe an idea to have the president hit the pre-approval to bring them into the loop as they'll be swearing the member back in. Only one person does the pre-approval, so unless you're having that person do a second approval, which isn't possible, I don't know if it's a good idea to have the presidents be doing that on a regular basis, since it really is the vice president's responsibility to do that. Let's see, Kira says, is the presentation going to be emailed out or accessible on BNI Connect? Definitely would like to share this with the next membership committee. Yes, this is being recorded and it will be sent out. You will have access to it. Susan says, is it possible to get a copy of this for other membership committee members? Yes, we will get you a copy of both the PowerPoint presentation and the recording of this. All right. So that is the pre-approval process. Again, it goes through the membership dues report. As soon as we enable this in the region, you'll see that little red head pop up on the membership dues report, and you'll be able to do the pre-approvals. All right? So that's the pre-approvals. The other option is a post-approval, which means that a member has submitted an application, and now we're doing it retroactively, going in and approving somebody afterwards, which is kind of, again, how we do it right now. So the way that works is, a member, they put in the application. There'll be an email that goes out to the membership committee and the vice president and the leadership team and the director consultant saying, hey, congratulations, somebody just submitted their application and wants to renew in the chapter. Isn't this great? Please click this link and go and review it. So that will come in the application received email. The other way is that you will have access to what's called the pending applications screen. So really the link in the email takes you to the pending applications screen. So let's take a look at how that works. So I'm still logged in as my good friend Albert Camus. I'm going to go ahead and go to the operations menu now. So the pending applications screen is going to be on the operations menu. So I'm going to go to operations, chapter, and under manage memberships, you'll see the view pending applications. So if I click on view pending applications, this will show us all of the applications that are pending for the chapter. This will show also both the online ones and the offline ones. So if somebody does turn in a paper application or a paper renewal, these will appear here as well. So if you're ever looking to check on, even the paper applications that have been put in, where it is in the process, whether it's been finalized at the regional office, for example, you can check this list as well. So here we see that Albert Camus, my good friend Alfred E. Newman, has also processed a renewal, and Marky Mark. Now, Marky Mark was actually pre-approved, so this one is all set and ready to go. Of course, I can click on the word approved and further review this. I can click the PDF copy of the application, look at the training details, things like that. But since this one has already been pre-approved, there's nothing to be done there. But let's take a look at Alfred E. Newman. His renewal has been submitted, but it has not yet been approved. So I need to click on the little red arrow here. And this will take me into the approval screen. It looks pretty much identical to the pre-approval screen. The difference is that there's now a PDF copy of the application, so I could click on this if I need to and open it up and take a look at the application. So I can review this application. I can see what their answers were to their questions, for example. I can look and see that they've paid their fees if I'd like to. I can print out a copy of this or email a copy to myself or save it. It will always be stored as part of their record for the regional office's use. When I'm ready to go, I can then certify again that we have had all of the necessary membership performance reviews. We have had our membership committee meeting under penalty of death. We can also choose whether or not it's conditional and whether or not control letters. And you'll notice now we have two options. We can approve it or we can decline the renewal. Approving the renewal puts it into the payment process. Everything's going to go smoothly from there. If you decline it, keep in mind that the member will not be notified about that decline. We do not do those things electronically. A control letter will need to be sent out to go through the decline process, and the member will still need to be dropped from the chapter, or they can serve out the rest of the term if this was an early renewal. But that does need to be handled as an offline process to decline that renewal. But I'm going to go ahead, and Alfred E. Newman was a good guy, some decent stats, so we're going to go ahead and approve him. And now we're going to be back on the pending application screen. We can see that he is now approved. And this one is good to go. I can go back. So this one has been approved, this one has been approved, and we still have one application pending. But since it's for myself, Albert Camus, I can't do anything with that one. All right, so let's just review this real quick. The renewal approval process. Once you receive the renewal application, or even before, you can go and review the person's performance. You do need to still have your membership committee meetings. You can either do a pre-approval, or once you've received the application, do a post-approval. From that point, what's going to happen is the region will take over. They'll verify the payment status and finalize it at the regional office. Now, as I mentioned, there are a ton of emails that go out during every step of this process, so you should be kept in the loop for everything that's going on. Prior to renewal, there's up to 4 emails that go out. There's the renewal reminders, one that goes to the membership committee. You guys get these ones now. That lets you know the list of people that are due in 90 days. The difference is once we turn this on, you'll see an additional link in there that allows you to go to the pre-approval screen. The member also gets their renewal notification. The difference is that they will have a link in it that brings them into the renewal application once we turn this on. There's also the member opt-out. So when a member gets their renewal application, there will also be a link in there that says, yeah, I don't want to renew. So when that happens, what that does is it notifies the regional office, your director consultant, and you guys in the leadership team, the president, vice president, and secretary treasurer, that this member has opted out, that they don't want to renew. It does not automatically drop them from the chapter. They can still keep coming to chapter meetings. Think of this, though, as a kind of a last-minute warning that you might still be able to save this member. They've just chosen that they don't want to renew at this time. So look at that as a good thing to try to reach out to that member one last time instead of them just all of a sudden not showing up. There's also the member pre-approval. So if you have pre-approved a member, the member will get a notification saying you have been pre-approved. Would you like to start that renewal now? Then there's some emails that go out during the online renewal process. So once the member has submitted their renewal, they will be emailed a copy of the application. If they submitted their payment right there by a credit card, they will also get a notification saying that it was successful. If they decide to mail a check in, then an email will go out to the regional office and the director and the leadership team saying, please be on the lookout for an offline payment. Once they've submitted their online renewal, the chapter, the director, the vice president, the secretary treasurer, and the membership committee are all notified that somebody has now submitted their online application. If it hasn't already been approved, would you like to start that approval process? And finally, if there is changes to the member's details, the name, the company name, the category, anything like that, a big warning email will go out to the regional office, the director, the vice president, and the membership committee saying, by the way, this person made changes. Be sure you're okay with them before you approve. And then finally, after the online renewal, once a renewal has been approved, the member would get a notification that it was approved. If they had not yet paid, then they will get an email saying, okay, you've been approved, but you haven't paid yet. Please finalize the payment. There's also the renewal approval announcement saying that you've been approved, that this person has been approved, and it lets the chapter, the regional office, the director, the president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer, and membership committee know that that renewal has taken place. And finally, if they are declined, an email goes out letting the office, the director, the leadership team, and the membership committee know that somebody has been declined. Whew. This is just a quick list. It's the exact same thing, but who gets which email? So if you want to look at your position on here, this will show you which of those emails you will be receiving during the process. So obviously the vice president, you guys are going to get the most number of emails during the process to keep you in line with everything that's going on. All right, questions, bring them on. What questions do you guys have about this process? Questions, questions, questions. So it seems like a lot of information, but it's actually pretty straightforward. It's pretty much member does their renewal, and you guys have to do the approval online. Beth says, will members have a choice of renewing online or offline? Stephanie, I'm going to unmute you. I believe that we will still have the offline applications for a while.
Absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. Yes, absolutely. We will be doing paper applications for a long time until we get this all going. So no worries on that one.
Cool. I know that there are a few regions out there, not many, that have gone completely online with the renewals, but there are some complications with going fully online as well. For example, if somebody just wants to do a category change, that really still just needs to be done with a paper application. So
Right.
there's other things to talk about before we go fully online with the process.
Right, right. And regular applications, obviously new applications are going to still be the paper, so you'll be getting lots of those still, so no worries.
Yeah, we don't have the ability to do full applications, new members, quite yet.
Right.
Beth also asked, does the VP have to enter the offline apps into the pending app screen? And the answer to that is no. So the offline process, if they do a paper application, that process stays exactly the same. So exactly the same. Nothing's going to change with the offline process. You can't do an approval for an offline application. Only the online applications get the online approvals.
Right.
Beth says, if the app is submitted and approved but the payment isn't made by the first of the month, does the late fee kick in? And the answer to that is no. What determines whether or not the late fee is assessed is when the actual application is submitted. So as long as they are current when they submit the application, it will not incur a late fee, even if they haven't paid for it yet. Chances are, though, that 99.9% of them are going to submit the payment as part of the application process, because that's where it leads you through. So unless they have an actual problem with the payment. All right. That was the last question I see there. What other questions do you have? Comments. What do you guys think of this so far? I know Stephanie's nervous.
A little bit.
Let's see. Robert asks, I guess the exact name of the above form is the Member Progress Review form. Again, will the member be given a link to click as part of this process? I know BNI wants it done, so it makes sense. The member is not given a copy of the Member Progress Review form. Because that is not an official part of the HQ process, they are not given a copy of that during there. The review that you're doing on the membership record, so when you go in and you're reviewing the stats, that is actually just this. It's really a 6-month view of the personal POMS report. So that's really all that form is that you're looking at is the personal POMS report and of the 6-month figures. But as far as a personal review, that is not part of the official process. Beth says, is there a preference of whether the member sends the check into the office or gives it to the Secretary Treasurer? Stephanie, how do you want that handled? Do you want the members to send in the checks to the office directly or to hand them over to the Secretary Treasurer to send in once a week or what have you?
Yeah, I think at this point, if you guys can, I think we're going to still have them send it to the Secretary Treasurers because they're there and there's, they can hand it to them, and then you guys have the Secretary Treasurers have the labels. I think we're going to kind of go with that for a while, so that I'm not just getting random checks from people, and I'm going to get them, and they're not going to necessarily have put everything into the computer, and it's hard to follow up on those. So I think for the time being, we're going to have you get the checks from the people when they come in. And in fact, it'd be probably better if they hand it to you rather than even send it in. Does that make sense?
That makes sense to me. So that help, Beth? All right, the rest of you leadership team people, what do you think? Think this is going to be manageable in your chapters? Not getting any comments.
No comments, huh?
No comments. Beth says this should expedite the renewal process. Rick says so much easier. Robert says hopefully better than the paperless slips route. Jan says sure, we can manage that. And Beth says it's really hard to chase people down sometimes. Mm-hmm.
Right, so, and we won't have to worry about the weather and whether we have a meeting or not, and so
I think the biggest challenge people will have will be with the members that don't have a login to BNI Connect. Rick says the dog can't eat this application. I think the biggest challenge you'll have is with some of the members that refuse to log into BNI Connect for whatever reason, and getting them logged in. For the chapters that all of their members are submitting finally, online with BNI Connect and the slips and everything. You're logging into BNI Connect anyway, and really it's just one click. So.
Right.
And by the way, if you guys are struggling, if anybody in your chapter says, I can't log in or whatever, just have them shoot us an email, support@bniconnect.com, and we will be happy to just get them set up in BNI Connect. It takes like 2 seconds for us at support to do that. And here's some other stuff if you're interested as far as resources for this. And again, as soon as I'm done, I will get this recording uploaded and online, and hopefully by tomorrow you'll get an email with links to this recording as well as the PowerPoint.
Okay, Jeremy, who are you going to send that out to, just so I know? Because I know.
Well, if you want, I'll send it to you, and then you can distribute it to whoever you want to get it.
Okay, that'd be great. Yeah, because I want everybody to get it, not just. I want the leadership team we're going to send it out to.
So, all right. I know we've gone about 15 minutes over already. Ken, is there anything you want to add to close this up, or Peter or Beth or anybody else that's on the call? Is there anything that you want to add in? I don't want to take up too much more of everybody's time.
Yeah, Jeremy, I want to thank you for doing an absolutely wonderful job here, and I think this is a great opportunity now to begin to talk this up within the chapters, both from the leadership team standpoint and from the director standpoint. Talk to those people that are in the near future renewal process. With the May 1st, we're probably going to have to still do the May 1st renewals from a hard copy standpoint, not sure. But talk it up and really let's just try to get right in the swing of things. And if you have any questions, please talk to your director. Stephanie's absolutely happy to help in the office. I am absolutely happy to help. So we know that there's going to be a few bumps in the road, but we are absolutely here to help you all.
Awesome. And I'm here to help as well. Obviously, a lot of your directors may not be up to speed on exactly how this process is taking place. So feel free to reach out to me as well, and I can even meet with the rest of the directors to make sure that they understand this process inside and out. All right.
Okay.
Cool. I'm going to let everybody off the hook. Thank you guys so much for being here. And again, Beth says that VPs can ask their directors to present this at your chapters as well over the next month. So very good point. Cool. And just a reminder, click on the question mark in BNI Connect. That will take you over to the support site. By the way, a good referral for me is you'll see we have a bunch of upcoming webinars. Please join me on those webinars and let your chapters know about them. And you will be able to find today's, and it will be part of this recorded webinars for April 2015. All right, guys, have a wonderful afternoon and happy connecting.
Thanks again, Jeremy.
Thank you, Jeremy.